Hey everybody, Tim from Monarch Historical Fencing here, and I'm back from Gesellen Fechten, which I fought in last weekend. I was in Tier B Longsword. Didn't get too many fights in because I couldn't make elims, but that's all right. There's still a lot to learn and a lot to discuss. Today I'm going to be talking about the idea of adaptation and not giving up just because you're getting your clock worked, your clock cleaned. um, in this fight, I was down 3-0-1 on the last point uh, against my opponent Gabriel McNeil here, a promising young fencer who actually ended up getting fifth in this tournament. Pretty successful. And even though I was down, I felt like it was a perfect opportunity to try something new and attempt to react to the things that my opponent had been showing me this entire match. In fencing, you don't want to just kind of do the same thing over and over again unless it's working really, really well, which to be fair, it was working very well against me. You want to make sure that you're mixing up your intentions and trying as best as you can to confuse and deceive your opponent. They call it a deceptive art for a reason. Now, in this fight here, I'm going to be showing you the fourth and the fifth point. The fourth point because Gabe shows very well kind of what he's been doing and how he's been gaining success from it. And the fifth point was me finally being able to respond and adapt. Um, Before we start, I just want to say Gabe beat me so clean. Anything that I say in this video is not like to disparage him or anybody that fights like him. That's not the point of any of these videos. I just honestly think that reviewing your footage and trying to see what your opponent does well and what you are doing well helps you figure out how to solve the problems of what you are doing poorly. So in this match thus far, I had been poorly attacking Gabe, and he had just been striking my hands super fast. So I needed to figure out how to stop that. I try and do that a little bit in this point, in this first point here, but was unsuccessful. So then I had to try a new strategy in the last point. So let's watch both points, and we will check out kind of the landscape before we start describing everything and breaking it down. So that is our one double of the match. So it is currently 3-0-1. And the 1 point that I got in the match. uh, it might only be 1 point, but I'm pretty proud of that point. I thought that kind of my strategy worked out. Even if it takes you a little while, at least you get there in the end. So let's describe a little bit about what's going on. And before before we get into the footage like super deep, I want to apologize because oh my god, just it is so difficult to review footage on like Windows Movie Maker or like all these different things. So if I skip some frames, just try and follow what's going on. I sometimes it's not the best software to review footage on. So uh, show me a little leniency here. So we move in at the start of the point. Gabe kind of tentatively but forcefully moves in to try and snipe my hands because I have um, moved my hand forward, right, to attempt to block an oncoming strike. But I kind of realized uh, as I was doing it that that wasn't going to be successful. So I just kind of moved my hands up to my shoulders very quickly instead of trying to like thrust my hands out into Kron or whatever it might be, Corona in the Italian, to actually capture his blade. And it was a smart decision because I would not have captured his blade because he, as you can see here, when he did this, he moved forward, he planted his foot, put all of his weight on his front foot while he's striking in order to back up afterwards very quickly. So even if I would have captured his blade, he would have been able to loosen his blade from the capture very quickly because his footwork was very fast, and then just hit me in the hands on the way out. So I was able to stop him from sniping me there. Um, he moves back, he moves forward. I, in this position, am trying to throw a sweeping cut onto his sword to displace his sword from my left shoulder. This is purposeful. I know that he's sniping my hands, so I move the sword to this location purposefully to try and move it to my right. I'm keeping my right foot back until I do the cut, so I can then have enough speed and enough distance at the end of that parry to then cut him uh, at a deeper target. Unfortunately, Gabe is like 10 times faster than me. so so even though I had prepared this purposefully to strike the blade kind of in des um, to then follow up afterwards, he is quicker than me, so he was able to beat my blade and hit my hands before I could make contact with his blade. He did. It was like, oh my god, it was like a centimeter off. It's so embarrassing when you're just like, man, it was a calculated risk, but man, am I bad at math? You know what I mean? So his the reason why I say that is from the top left, me slashing down. As I'm slashing down, he hits my hand underneath my crossguard, between my crossguard and my glove. So he would have basically just sheared off the outside uh, of my index finger, the side that's touching the crossguard. Um, but that's a point, man. You know, he got in there and he was able to bleed me. So, um, you know, I didn't really think about it at that point. I was just like, I'm going to finish the action, my counterattack. So I finished with a Sotani or Unterhau, whatever you like. If I would have been able to successfully block his blade on the outside of my cross, usually my go-to is to come through with a Mezzano or Mittelhau over his blade and cut him in the side of the head. Some people are able to get it up fast enough, which is actually what he was doing here. He was attempting to block basically that strike, but because of the positions of the blade, I knew that an Unterhau would actually hit. So I doubled him out with an Unterhau. Unfortunate, our one double. All of that is to say, I made a strategy that was based on what he was doing. I got everything right, but I didn't execute it well. So you can, in the great words of Jean-Luc Picard, uh, you could go through life and make no mistake and still fail. That is not failure or weakness. That is life. So I knew what he was going to do. I responded with an action to counter what he was going to do. I wasn't good enough, and he punished the crap out of me and was able to double me out. So now I know officially I stopped huffing the copium, being a 35-year-old man who is almost 300 pounds, that I could somehow outspeed this young man half my size with a longer sword. I'm thinking about this on my way back to Clark, who tells me, "Ah, you got this. You know, just get that last point." And I'm like, "Okay, I could do this. I just need to use my footwork appropriately, because speed cannot beat footwork. If your measure and your angles are better than your opponent, they could be as fast as you want. It doesn't matter. You will be able to uh, essentially outmaneuver their speed. So I am going into this round knowing, one, he is faster than me. Two, he likes sniping my hands. Three, he sets his feet after most of his attacks. And four, he will move forward if I show that I'm moving backwards. So those are the four things that I know he is doing. Maybe he could change those at any time. I can't read minds. But thus far, for the past 4 points, he has done that. I've triangulated a position. So now I'm going to counter that. Let's watch the full point again. Boom. Okay. So I move in. I move my sword before he could snipe my hands to have him plant his feet against me. I don't throw full cut because he would 100% have hit my hands if I would have done so. So I, you know, move it up short and basically to bait out that planted footwork. His feet are planted. Boom. I back up, put all my weight on my rear foot to show him, hey, you could flesh me. You could start moving forward against me. You have plenty of room, right? He does not. And he does attempt to then plant his feet and move forward, but notices that I am uncoiling and moving forward, and he has to put on the oh shit meter. Oh God. Puts all his weight on his front foot so he could try and move backwards. Due to the position of Dente de Zingaro, which I started in down here, my hands are much more protected on the way up. I displace his blade, and then because I'm already exploding and am exploiting the fact that he was going to move forward with either a hand sniper or flash, I move in and am able to defeat his extreme speed, the crazy footwork speed and hand speed of this wonderful fencer with just some different footwork to counter what he was doing. And then thankfully I am able to um, guard the afterblow as well. Anyway, that's the counter. That's what I attempted to do. Instead of kind of giving up and saying, "Oh, this match is a wash. I'm not going to get any points. He's faster than me. Oh, he counters all of the stuff that I try and do because he's quicker than I am and has a long sword or whatever." Instead, I'm like, well, I need to essentially make my sword longer and account for all of the things that he is doing. He sets his feet, he tries to snipe the hands, he's incredibly fast, and he tries to move forward once I move backwards in order to keep measure. So let's watch these two one last time, just at normal speed. Boom. Goes for the hands, sets his feet, and strikes the hands on my way in. Bang. Hopefully this video is helpful in kind of like illustrating the idea of adaptation within the match. Um, it's also to hopefully illustrate you can see things that your opponent is doing and then punish those things. Um, even if they're better than you, even if they're faster than you, even if they've been fencing longer than you or less time than you, whatever, you have the ability to overcome the obstacles that are put in front of you as a fencer. The way that you do that is through good training and and playing matches. You got to fence. You have to see what other people are doing and be able to intake that in order to have the knowledge of their fencing style to be able to counter anything. Once again, this is not me trying to say that I am special in any way. In fact, the tournament results speak for themselves. But this is just me giving you an example of something that every fencer can do to increase their likelihood of hitting their opponent without getting hit, which is our ultimate goal, right? Hopefully, this video is helpful. If you have any questions or you want to discuss anything in the comments, I love talking about fencing. So it's never out of my way to talk about matches or review footage or things like that. I'd be more than happy to review yours if you like. with that, I hope everyone has a wonderful night. Stay floaty out there. Peace, peace.